Hi, I'm Roger Wakefield, Lead AP, the expert plumber, coming to you on YouTube Live. You got to love it. Welcome to the show. This is the plumbing show where you can get your questions answered just by filling out the form above, putting in your question. Whether you're an apprentice, a journeyman that wants to own his own company, or a company owner that has questions about plumbing or social media that wants to get better, this is a great spot to be. We have people that are in the trades, people that want to be in the trades, and people that want to get better in the trades here. Now, if this is your first time here and you caught this on a recorded version of it, you may want to hang around, check it out. There's a lot of cool things here. If not, if you're here live, I love that. If you did find out on a recorded version, you are actually looking for a specific question to get answered, jump over into the channel. We've got a lot of videos where we do just that. Anyway, I hope that you're here. And even if you are catching the recorded version, I hope you hang around. Man, there's a lot of good information in here. We do have fun. And man, I'm excited. This is good. We're right between Christmas and New Year's. I hope everybody had an amazing Christmas. If you did, man, fantastic. Tell me what kind of cool toys you got. I like my pink shirt too. If you had a bad Christmas, man, I am sorry about that. It's actually been pretty cool around here. I'm ready for New Year's. I'm actually ready for tomorrow. Longhorns play tomorrow. It'll be the last game of the year for them. And now we get the college football championships, which is kind of funny because, man, they just didn't have much of a college football year. JO65, you're not a plumber, but you love the content. I love that. You know, the cool thing is it's always a fun show. We always have a good time. I want to jump in real quick and say hello to my moderators. We got Austin Chadwick, Amber Mendoza, Mr. William Rosebrock in here taking care of things for me. Neil, the Urban Explorer, is in the house. Fantastic. I want to start off real quick. If you're not subscribed to this channel, why not? And it's just a thing that I ask. And man, we're starting to do a little bit of research. I hope y'all like my new cup. My sister made that for me for Christmas. I think it's actually pretty cool. Probably get a better view of it right there. Anyway, you know, if you're not subscribed, man, tell me why. And I'm just curious because, you know, I watched a deal this weekend with Nick Nemman about subscribers and do they subscribe? Are they watching? If they're not subscribing, why not? What is the deal? So I'll tell you all this. Look, if you are in here in the live, do me a favor. Go down there and subscribe or tell me if you already are. And if not, why not? If you're catching us on a replay, make sure you subscribe because we try to make great videos to answer all your plumbing questions all the time. We put out 3 new videos a week. We do a live stream right here. And we also, Tuesday and Thursday, go live on LinkedIn. So we have a lot of places that you can get in touch with us. I'm going to jump over into the forum right now. I see Editor Grayson, man. What? I don't know what. The Nightbot, you have made it really, really mad. I actually went and tried here making you a moderator a while ago. It wouldn't. And Liz, it won't show Liz either.
I don't think it's Nightbot. I think they, I don't know what happened.
They've pissed it off.
They've pissed YouTube off.
Man,
I don't know what happened.
Are y'all in like YouTube jail or something? Yeah, Liz says, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell icon to stay up to date on the latest new videos. And Grayson, brother, man, now I got the greatest editor in the world that won't even let him chat in here. That's sad. Liz, Grayson, man, I see y'all in here. I appreciate it. And I also saw Big John was in here earlier. I love that. Your turd is causing comments to be hidden. Grayson can't show it. Yeah, it won't let him show it. It won't let any of us show it. That's pretty bad. I'm going to jump over into the forum real quick. Guys, if you have questions, please go to the link in the forum up top, fill it out, put your question in there, and that's where we answer questions. Every now and then I just jump over in the chat and kind of look through it and see what's going on. You know, and I love that. And we got Julie in here too. So Julie says, is it the poop emoji? No, because that's what we have for our members.
No, because Neil's doing it.
Neil's
and his are showing
one,
up.
Yeah.
There's been a couple other members, I think, in here today too that have showed up. It's not the poop emoji.
Maybe it's the brown poop emoji, you know? Because that's what Editor Grayson's is.
Yeah, Grayson's got the bronze. He moved up to bronze from brown.
Man, I don't know. We got to figure this out. It's bad when Grayson can't get in and comment. But all Grayson would get in and comment is about how great the videos are edited. That's his favorite comment. Yeah, since the poop emoji was supposed to be chocolate ice cream. It's pretty close. So anyway, guys, like I said, if you've got questions, jump into the forum, go over there and fill it out. I'm going to go ahead and jump over in the forum right now and see what we got. Say that. Here's right here. Boom, start there. And let me scroll down here and see what we got. We got James Clifton, who's in plumbing. Says, how has COVID affected the plumbing trade in your area? If it did, how did you overcome that? James, this is really a great question because it did affect us. It slowed things down. And luckily, we got in on some of the stimulus. It was great because it slowed things down, but we were able to tweak and modify and adjust things around. The good thing about it is we, as a plumbing company, plumbers are essential. And it's a good thing to know because people looking at careers right now, and remember, I started saying this back in March, what if this is the new normal? What if we are in the beginning of, and I mean, think about it. We've had HIV, we've had the flu that are both viruses that we don't have a cure for yet. I know the vaccines are coming out, but man, just a lot to think about. Anyway, back in March, I started saying, what if this is the new normal? Look at it this way. The trades have all been busy. Now, don't get me wrong. We had a lot of argument in the middle of it about, building a new hotel, stuff like that. Is that really essential? I think residential service providers, whether it is plumbers, electricians, HVAC, we all need our utilities at our homes, and I understand that. And I think that's essential. Building a new hotel so we can have the next Taj Mahal hotel, I don't know that that's really essential, but there's lots of billionaires out there that I assume think that it is. And I get it, that they get to do what they want to do. So it hadn't been bad for us because we are an essential service, a residential service provider. You've got to get people fresh water. You've got to make sure the sewer water gets away from their house. On the other hand, things did slow down. Remember, people have been, in the beginning, people were home and we didn't know how long this lasts. We thought 2 weeks, people were going to be out of work 2 weeks. They were kind of holding on to their money. Oh, Grayson, I can hear you, just nobody else can. The funny thing is, though, after it started lasting and people are at home, kids are home from school, people are home from work, they're overtaxing their plumbing system. So, man, we started getting busy. And it's been really busy. But I will tell you this, I know of a lot more plumbers retiring now because of this. And they're like, look, just after this, I don't even want to go back into it. My thought process is there's less people getting in, there's more people getting out. That's going to increase supply and demand. Plumbers are going to be making more money a whole lot faster. So look at what's going on and, just kind of think, what do you want to do? How do you want to do it? This is a great trade to be in. And now's probably really a good time to get into it. Next, I have Sean Wright, not in plumbing, says, when we turn on the dishwasher, I can hear a very loud dripping sound on the other side of the house. Copper pipes expanding, no sign of water anywhere. And you've hit what it is. It is copper pipes expanding. Your dishwasher should be tied into your hotline. Is that hot pipe, and this happens at my house. And it's so funny because, Julie is like, okay, I hear that dripping on the wall, and that's not what it is. It's the thermal expansion of the copper pipes. It loops up through my bathroom, then goes down before it goes to the kitchen. So if the dishwasher gets turned on, and as that water heats up, it expands and you start hearing that, and that's exactly what it is. So, Sean, you figured it out already. Chris says, my mom's water heater is at least 15 to 20 years old, never serviced, anode rod flushed, anything at all. Would it be better to get a plumber to check the rod and flush, etc., or look at getting a newer one? It is piped for propane. Any rebates from state and federal? Normally, propane is just a gas, so there's probably not any rebates. What I will tell you is I would not spend any money changing a rod, flushing it, or anything like that. That money could go towards a newer one. Once you shut that thing down and cool it down, you've got to warm in order to change a rod and flush it and stuff. You've got to worry about thermal expansion. as it cools down, if it shrinks and then heats up and gets back bigger again, it could be a problem. So I would be very careful and see what it is. Okay, so Neil's playing with it. He says, hang on, Grayson, the system thinks you're the video owner. I know, I tried changing it and it wouldn't let me change it for him. Grayson, try to go in and unmoderate yourself or moderate yourself. Got that one. Yeah, and take care of mom. You don't want to get a call when mom's having to take a cold shower. Avery says, my roof is pretty messed up and the person charging me is charging way too much. What do I do? Well, how do you know they're charging you way too much? Did you get other prices from other people? And they may be charging you way too much, but what value are they giving you? Are they doing things that others aren't? I tell people all the time, look, we're not the cheapest plumbing company in town. We don't do shortcuts. We use the best product. We have the best people. We use the best equipment, the best materials, everything. And we can't do all that and be the cheapest. But charging you way too much, I'm interested in how you figured that out. And, you know, the other people or whoever's telling you they're charging you way too much, are they roofers? Look, the second guy can always be cheaper and tell you the other person's wrong. I'm just kind of interested in how you figured that out. So Avery, just let me know. Donovan says, if you are a certified plumber in one state and move to another, do you need to certify? P.S. Love the videos. You're a great guy. No, I'm not a great guy. Never claimed to be, never tried to be, but I appreciate it. Yeah, you've got to get registered or licensed in whatever state you're in. And, you know, the cool thing, Donovan, is some states that are right next to each other have reciprocity. So, you know, if you're licensed in one state and you work in another, they may recognize it. They may tell you, look, we understand you're licensed here. We understand the value of it, but you're still going to need to pay us some money, register, whatever it is. I know some plumbers that are licensed in multiple states because of where they live. They work in multiple areas. So look at it that way and figure it out. And, man, it's worth doing it if you're going to move for sure. Start checking into it beforehand.
Got a super chat I'm going to send over. It's actually 2 super chats from the same person. It's like a part 1, part 2 type deal.
I'll tell you what. This is my new favorite toy right here. And look at that good-looking mug on the other side. You got to love that. My sister makes these. She made this for Christmas. So made me one, made Julie one, all kinds of stuff. Neat. Okay, super chat. Thank you, Victor Leduc. How are you? Thank you. 1 of 2. For a full renovation, I want to do a hot water circulation system. It is a several-story house. Do I need to do a full loop through the entire house? Will it work if the loop splits at one moment? Luke,
you want part 2?
It can, yeah. Go ahead. I'm afraid the flow will only go to one subloop. What do you think of the idea to have one loop for each story, each one with its own circulation pump? How would you do it? That's kind of interesting. I like the idea. Hey, I like this, though, to let Editor Grayson give us a super chat. Hey, not bad ain't dumb. So here's what I would say, Victor. I like the idea. If it's a 2-story house, you've got the opportunity of coming up in the ceiling and running a loop to where literally things go right up to the fixture above it. So my thought process is I like the idea of one loop, one circulation pump. That way you can design it where it literally circulates right below or even through it. If you're one of those people, look, as soon as I turn on hot water, I want it. You can loop up and loop back down and do your stub out. That way that water's always moving. But I like the idea of one loop, one pump. That way you're not having to fight that once you have a problem, trying to make it all happen. And we have another moderator in the house. Mr. Sean Strong is here. So, Victor, I would literally look at what could I do to design one loop and lay it out. I love that. I start thinking when you get into multiple loops, multiple pumps, things like that, it just leads to possible problems. And man, I'm one of these guys, I believe in keeping it simple. Back over into the forum for questions. Guys, if y'all have got any questions, please jump over into the forum. Amaya says, why did you want to become a plumber? I started to be Roger. I wanted to be a male gigolo, but I didn't have the body for it, or enough hair. To be honest, it's really funny. And anybody who's heard my story, I was actually at 16 years old. I quit school. I was managing a burger joint, a restaurant. And a real good friend of mine was working there with me one night, and it was me and him, and it was slow. And I literally, we were talking, and he says, are you going to do this forever? And I'm looking at him, I'm like, dude, I am 16 years old. I'm managing a restaurant. Life is good. And he said, so what happens if you quit or get fired? Who's going to hire you? And I mean, I never thought about it that way. So after talking to him, of course, a couple of weeks later, I quit or get fired. But when we talked that night, he's talked about his dad and his brothers. And he's got 3 brothers that were all plumbers. His dad was a plumber, and they all loved it. So when I probably got fired, what I did is, Richard Gere got that role. No, I wanted to be a real gigolo, not the American gigolo. Yeah, that's my wife. I'm in trouble, y'all. I called one of his brothers and said, look, man, can you help me get a job? And he did. And I loved it. I mean, I loved plumbing. I thought it was so cool. I got a job as, it was a commercial plumbing company. It was doing a remodel. And one of the big things that I ask people all the time is, when you get into plumbing, like I did, and I've talked to a lot of plumbers and interviewed a lot of plumbers, I always ask them, do you know what kind of plumber you wanted to be before you got in the trade? And they all were like, no, I was just going to be a plumber. And it was the same with me. And that's why we created the free mini course. What kind of plumber do you want to be? And really, it's any tradesperson. What kind of plumber, electrician, roofer, HVAC tech, it doesn't matter. Commercial, residential, service, new construction, union, non-union. There's so many different choices and options and things like that. But I didn't know that. I knew that I wanted to do something outside of the restaurant. I went to work with them. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And man, it has been great for me. It's been a wonderful career, and I recommend it to people all the time. So Mr. Brian Kirk says, why did you replace a toilet riser that connected to ABS with a riser that was lead instead of using an ABS riser or PVC? We normally don't do a lot of ABS here. There was ABS in the ground, and literally, Brian, in 40 years of plumbing in this area, that's the second ABS piping I've ever seen up under a house. So what we did is, we came out, we went from ABS to PVC over, and then the riser was lead because we wanted a lead stub up to put a brass flange and anchor it in the concrete. And that was just because the plumber that I had over there, that's what he wanted to do. I've got to where I normally turn up PVC and use a PVC flange with a metal ring on it. So there's different, like I don't micromanage every one of my guys. I let each one of them do things the way they want it to do. There's certain things I don't allow, like shark bites. But, for the most part, it's like, look, each one of my plumbers understands the way I want things done. We want to do a quality installation each and every time we're there. But they understand that, the way that they do things, if that's what they want to do, I'm normally good with it. Brett Wright wrote a novel. Says, we had a problem with the drain to the washing machine. The pipe that was installed is 2-inch, but the flow of the water always backflows. Is the pipe not big enough, or do I need to run a snake down it? No, that's good. You gave me plenty of information. Here's my thought. number one, a 2-inch drain line is normally big enough. You can try a blow bag or something to see if it's in the P-trap. You may try running a top sink snake down it, but you may end up having to get up on the roof or a clean out and clean out that entire line. The reason being, somebody's crazy. The reason being is that a 2-inch line is normally big enough. And the small line coming out of the washing machine is pumped, so there's a lot of pressure behind it. But, man, 2-inch should handle it every time. That shouldn't be a problem. So, Brett, let me know if that works for you. Bradley Riles. Sorry about that. Just curious, my friend, who used to be the plumber for 4 years said PEX is a pain because of the fittings. Have you found this to be true? As always, thank you for your interesting content. Thank you for your time. I don't mind PEX. PEX isn't a pain because of the fittings. PEX can cause problems because of the fittings are reduced in size. Meaning, half-inch PEX pipe is the same idea as half-inch PEX copper right at it. But when you put that half-inch PEX fitting in there, it's reduced because it's got to have a thick wall and it squeezes it down. So you create a flow restriction every time you put a PEX fitting in. That's why I tell people, look, I don't mind you putting in PEX, but if you do, at least upsize it. That way you don't create flow restrictions that are going to cause problems. So Anonymous says, generally speaking in the U.S., how would I go about recycling a brass valve I replaced? Carry it down to the copper, metal, brass recycling place. They're all over the place. Google it. They're normally really pretty easy to find, but it's good. I like that you're recycling it, not just throwing it in the trash. Dylan Francis says, wrote in a week ago about becoming a plumber's apprentice. They decided to hire me, and I start on the 4th. Any tips on what to bring my first few days? Man, I like this. And Dylan, look, what I would tell you is that we've got some videos about tools every apprentice needs. You want to show up the first day with a pair of channel locks, a multi-screwdriver, a tape measure. Man, I've got videos kind of breaking down what tools you may want to start looking for. But a lot of it's going to depend on what kind of company you want to work for. What kind of work do they do? You might call them and say, hey, look, I start on whatever day the 4th is on, a Tuesday or something, I guess. Ask them what is required for me to bring on the first day, and also what to wear. Do you wear work boots? Do you wear tennis shoes? Different companies are different. I would always show up in work boots, jeans, and a nice, maybe like a polo shirt. I mean, it doesn't need to be a nice one, but something like that. Maybe a button-down shirt, something that you understand it's liable to get dirty. It's liable to get ripped, messed up, things like that. But at least you'll look good when you show up, and they'll understand that. Brendan says, I have an opportunity to start an apprenticeship with a local company. Do you think it's better to start with the union instead? Brendan, and this is really a good question. I like this because I came up open shop. Okay. I literally started working with a plumber. Matter of fact, one of the brothers I was talking about earlier. And I worked with 2 of his other brothers later that were really good people for me to work from or work with and learn from. So the thing that I'll tell you is, and I've got a video about why I've got out of the union. I've got a lot of different ones. But here's what I'll tell you. There's a lot to learn. And I like the fact that the union has a great training program. But I also like the fact that, open shop, you don't have school to go to 2 nights a week. You don't have things like that. My question is, what kind of plumber do you want to be? And what is your end game? If you want to be a commercial plumber, the union may be great. If you want to be a residential plumber that owns your own company, the union may not be very good for you. So you've got to kind of look at it and figure out what you want to do, how you want to do it, and what your end goal is. And what your end goal may be the biggest thing you need to think about. Marion says, how do you plumb the street pits? Well, I'm assuming you're talking about a manhole. Man, manholes are really unique because they've got to be shot. You've got to know your exact elevation. I've only done utilities for a little while, but it was neat to be involved with them. Everything from the water mains to the sewer mains. So it's all pretty cool. But, you know, the biggest thing is you've got to shoot that pit in the bottom. You've got to pour the concrete. You build up the forms. Man, it's a lot of fun. But, man, it's not something I would want to do all the time. Jason says, what's your process for hiring, especially now out of the union? I've never been part of a union, but find hiring exhausting when they won't provide references. We've actually got a really good process. Me being the master plumber, I'm the third interview, meaning they've got to go through Julie and Amber, Amber and Julie, whichever way. Then they've got a testing procedure that we give the people, and it's online test, and there's 2 of them. And it tells us if this person will fit our culture. And my thought process is we can train anybody to be a good plumber as long as they have good work ethic, as long as they fit the culture, that they want to be a team player. There's a lot of things, but that's really the big deal. We provide them with these tests, and it doesn't matter to me if they don't have references. Man, we want to know what kind of person people are, or what kind of person people really are. Are they a good person? Do they want to be a team player? Are they just in it about the money? I mean, what all's the deal? So, man, that's a good way to look at it. Ain't nothing better than nice cold water. Sorry about that. And Jason, even when I was in the union, I would want to talk to the plumbers. I didn't just let them send me plumbers. I wanted to interview them, talk to them, see what's going on, and see if they're the kind of people that I want. And again, that was probably part of my problem with the union. Chris says, what are some tips to help teenagers coming into plumbing, and what practices do we take? A lot of people just getting into plumbing, they don't understand. Look, plumbing's a hard job. You can get stuck on a jackhammer for a long time. You can get stuck on a shovel for a long time. There's a lot of things that can happen along the way. But in the end, if you want to be a great plumber, it's good to learn that stuff. Tips that I would give somebody coming into plumbing. First of all, the free mini course that we've got on our YouTube channel, take it because it'll help you figure out what kind of plumber you want to be. And Sean, I see you're still in here, and I think I've asked you this before. Did you know what kind of plumber you wanted to be when you got into plumbing? Did you understand commercial and residential? Did you understand new construction and service? Did you understand the union and non-union before you got in, or did you learn about all that later? Because I learned it all later. The other thing is, Chris, you're in a good spot. You're getting in here watching videos. You're asking questions. You're learning. And that's more than a lot of people are going to do. A lot of people are just they're going to go out and apply for a job. They're going to get a job and they're not going to know what to expect. You can literally look through every video I've got on here. If y'all are not following me on Instagram, on TikTok, on LinkedIn, if you have not joined the subreddit, there are so many places that you can see what we do. And we put different stuff in all kinds of different places. Each platform's different, so we treat them different. So somebody could literally come in and watch what we do everywhere and learn a lot of different things. Chris, you're doing that. You're in social media right here. You're asking questions. That's a great place to start. We've got 550, almost 600 videos up. Each one of them are different. Each one of them talk about different things. Even the lives that we do, we end up talking different things about our lives, but we have people in here every week asking, hey, how do I learn? How do I grow? What do I do? So, man, watching videos, whether it's me or other channels, it's not going to hurt you. It is literally going to make you better. And I hope you keep coming back. I hope you subscribe. I hope you ring the bell so you see us put videos out. But I hope you keep coming back and talking to us and saying, hey, this is what it's like. This is what I'm learning. And this is what's happening. Serafino de Lucas says, what's the most bizarre thing that has happened to you? Man, I woke up in a spaceship one morning. Oh, wait, that's a complete. Oh, you mean about plumbing. I'm joking. You know, and nothing really bizarre. You know, the good thing about me about plumbing, I mean, don't get me wrong, man, I found dead critters in sewer lines. I've pulled personal lighter out of a grease trap. A lot of different things, but you know, I mean, nothing really crazy. One of my stories starts out, I remember when I was first plumbing, standing in a ditch half filled with raw sewage, bending down working on a sewer line. And I mean, the thing is, that's not even that crazy. It's at least it wasn't at the time. So nothing really crazy. I mean, to be honest, man, it's all been pretty good. I believe in safety. I understand the benefits behind it. I know to turn water off before I work on lines. Nothing like these videos that you see of mine over on Reddit and Instagram and God, Twitter and everywhere else that we've got them. Man, I've never done anything like that because I really do try to work very, very safe every single day. Mac Houston says, I've been doing new construction for my first 2 years of my apprenticeship and need a change. Do you recommend I spend the next couple of years to learn the service side? I'll tell you what, Matt, it really depends on where you want to be when you end up. And I tell people all the time, look at where you want to be in 5 years. Look at where you want to be in 10 years, and then look at where you want to be when you finish off. Meaning, do you want to own your own company one day, or do you want to, move up in the union and be a superintendent and, work for them till you're 60 or 70 and say, there, I'm done? What do you want to do? If you want to do commercial, I'd say, why get into service or why get into residential service? And you said you did just say service. New construction, and look, I like it, whether it's construction, residential, or commercial. I've done both. I really do enjoy it. But I think I really like service because I'm a problem solver. One of my plumbers used to ask me, he's like, Roger, when you walk into a house, it's like it talks to you and you just know where the problem is. And don't get me wrong, it's not always that easy, but it is nice that when you've done it as long as I have and you've done so many different aspects of it, and you can walk up to a house and look at it. And if you know where the sewer lines are, different things like that, you got to be careful because you can walk up and look and understand, I know how to do this. I know where this goes, or I know where it should go. Now, it doesn't always go that way, but it's a cool way to look at it. But be careful because a lot of times you'll say, okay, this should go here. It should go here. But you'll find that it was roughed in by a plumber, doesn't know what to do. Sean Strong says, just be careful when soldering. I don't think I'd have an afro or a mullet as a plumber. Hey, Sean, I used to have a mullet and I had hair down to my waist as a plumber. So you can do it and be careful. Back over in the forum, guys, if y'all have any questions, there's a link to the forum up in the top. Jump up there, go over there and ask your question, and I will gladly answer it. So Blake Drury says, hi, I'm back. Love your content. Also, do you regret anything about doing plumbing? Yeah. And really, I hate to say it, about one of the only things I really regret is when I started my service company, I wanted to stay union. And I think that hurt me bad. I think the union is great for employees. I think the union sucks for small company owners. I know that they're working on things. They're trying to make things better. I've got friends that's talking to the union about doing things. But man, I got to tell you, as a small plumbing company owner trying to start out, signing a union contract was a bad thing for me because my local union, they did nothing for me. They did not train people. They did not give me good people. They didn't recruit people. They didn't send me much work. There's not a lot they did for me. And when I say they didn't do nothing, they did stuff every now and then, but my own union didn't even recognize me as a company. If you went to their website, it didn't even show me listed. The MCA didn't show me. The MSCA didn't show me. Nobody did. So it's like, where did my money go? That has got to be one of my biggest regrets about plumbing. And, you know, my wife, who's smarter than me, kept saying, look, why are we union? I'm like, man, I want to be union because it's best for the employees. And I always said that. I should have started looking out for us first, for the company first, and then I could have made it a lot better for the employees. So that's my biggest regret about plumbing. Joining the union as my small residential service company, probably the dumbest thing I've ever done. Hector Tamayo says, would you rather specialize in one part of plumbing and not all parts of it? Absolutely. At Texas Green Plumbing, which is the name of my plumbing company here in the Dallas area, we specialize in slab leaks and leak detection. But Hector, we do everything. When somebody calls, we went and worked on a toilet today on a mobile home. We've rebuilt toilets. We do remote slab leak systems. We do water heaters. We do everything. But we specialize in slab leaks and leak detection because a lot of plumbing companies around here don't want to do it. And man, it's something we got really, really good at. And that helps a lot. Next, we got Ken Day. Roger, doing a project with my dad, and we were unclogging a metal drain pipe. I was wondering, is PVC less likely to clog over metal pipes? You know, it depends on what kind of metal you're talking, Ken. If it's cast iron's normally lined pretty good where it's smooth, but over time it can kind of corrode. It can rot out. It can get channel rot. A lot of things can happen. PVC normally doesn't do that. I don't know that PVC is any less likely to clog, but I guess it is because it's got a smoother surface. And paper, baby wipes, or, you know, look, there are some flushable wipes. We always, and I don't have any in here, we always recommend Cottonelle to people. And go ahead, Sean says, here we go with Cottonelle. You know, the thing is, I've done a test on them. And I actually did this. I was up in Telephone at my sister's house this weekend, and they had some regular baby wipes in there. And I carried a baby wipe and a Cottonelle in there to my brother-in-law and handed him the baby wipe. And I'm like, you know, tear this apart. And he grabs it with two hands and pulls. And then I give him the Cottonelle. And I mean, literally, it was like that. Regular baby wipes have plastic fibers in them. They make them stop up. So, you know, the pipes do matter. I think the smoother PVC, women can probably flush anything down there. It'll go right out the drain. But if it's got cast iron in there and it started to rot, started to corrode, started to get tough on the inside, man, it can do both. And Jason, they work for wiping and breaking down. Tested them both ways, trust me. Good way to look at it. Jacob says, do you like counter guys at your local supply house? You know, it's really funny because, you know, as y'all can see, we're sponsored by Ferguson. The neat thing about that is all through our negotiations and talks, they always ask me, why do you use Ferguson? And they said, is it because it's closer? And it's not. I mean, I've got a plumbing supply right down the street. And look, we still go there if we need something quick. But my thing is, if we do things right, we've got it ordered in advance. It's on the trucks. If we are operationally excellent, we have things lined up. So I don't see my local counter guys a lot, but my sales rep, my national, my regional, my area, all those, man, my sales reps take good care of me. And to me, those are my counter reps. That's the guys that I see. But I do normally like the counter guys. And I mean, even down here, if we have to run down and grab something quick, man, there's guys down there that I think are phenomenal. But whenever we started doing business with Ferguson, it was because of the relation with the local, or actually is the area sales manager. And he came in and says, hey, look, I'm not trying to take you away from anybody. Man, if you've ever got problems I can help you with, let me know. And man, he was just a neat guy. He wasn't pushy, wasn't salesy. And he wanted to know, look, what can I do for y'all? I'm not here to sell you anything. What can I do for you? How can I help your business get better? And man, we built a good relationship. And when it was time for me to start pricing stuff out and looking at making a change, I called him and everything worked out great. So I do love my counter guys. They've got to be good. I've got some counter guys at some supply houses I go to I will not even talk to. So got to be good. What are your feelings toward drain fresh rubber bulbs or canvas bags? Cody, I got to tell you, I like blow bags. I think that there's a time for them. I have been able to unstop a sewer line with a blow bag when I couldn't with a sewer machine. I think a lot of maybe big soft stoppages, that sewer machine's going to go right through it and come back and go right through it and come back. That blow bag's going to end up creating enough pressure, it pushes it all out. So I definitely think that there's a benefit in them. I've got them in my bag. I love having them. And man, I'm telling you, it's not a bad deal. Thomas Fernandez says, I'm an apartment maintenance technician. I have one unit where when the toilet is flushed, the tub has water come out of the nozzle. Does it both on flush and refill of the tank? Man, Thomas, this one's got me confused. I'll tell you what I want you to do. The Nightbot will end up putting a link in here in a little bit to the subreddit that we've got. It's called Roger Wakefield Posts. And here's what I would tell you. Video it. Take a video of the toilet, put the camera where you can see the toilet and the tub spout. I would love to see that. Just to see, man, is it a ton of water? Is it a little bit? What is it? But if you'll post that on Reddit, subreddit, Roger Wakefield Posts, video it, put your name in there where I can get in touch with you. I'd love to see it. And we may also, put a video in or put that on one of our YouTube videos. Guys, if y'all have got pictures or videos from, and it could be a lot of different things. I want to see that, especially if it's a temperature and pressure valve. My thing is, guys, that's where we get a lot of our videos off of our subreddit and off of TikTok. But if y'all have ever got pictures of either really great plumbing, really bad plumbing, and put it in there, let me see it. It may make a YouTube video. And then just tell us if we can use your name or not. Richard Reyes says, if we need to replace braided washing machine hoses regularly, what about those flexible braided supply lines for sinks and toilets? And Richard, this is good because I think they should be replaced ever so often. A lot of floods that we get will be where we go out and the connection at the toilet had actually been tightened too much, and it made the bottom of it split out. So, yeah, I believe in changing those out often too. Man, that is a good-looking face. I don't know what y'all think, but... And I don't know if y'all can see that when I drink it. Watch this. Let me turn it around where I can... Get it right side up. Y'all look at the bottom of this. Thank you, Sabra. That's my sister. Man, these are actually cool, though. I like it. So, Richard, yes, change your hoses. Alex says, thinking of doing plumbing, scared it'll be too hard, though. Thoughts? I got to tell you, it can be a hard job at times, but for the most part, if you work smart, you don't have to work hard. I love the fact that, this is a job that women can do. This is a job that men can do. You don't have to be the smartest guy in the class. You don't have to have a college education. You don't have to be a brainiac. You got to be willing to work. And I've had people send me messages say, hey, look, I'm 115 pounds. I want to get into plumbing. What do you think? I love it. Get into it. It can be done. Commercial work, they've got a lot of equipment to help lift pipe, to do things for you. A lot of people say, look, I want to get into plumbing. Then they end up becoming a welder or a pipe fitter or something. Look, there's so many cool things about plumbing. It can lead you in so many different directions. I started my son off plumbing. When I got in the union, he got in the union later. He became a pipe fitter. Then he moved into the office and became an estimator. So, man, he's got a good job and he loves it. He sits behind a computer all day. He does have to go out to jobs every now and then, do walkthroughs, different things like that. But at the end of the day, he loves it. And it started out by learning plumbing. You can turn this career or trade into whatever you want to turn it into. Jorge Vasquez says Kohler Delta American Standard mowing. Yep. You know, here's the deal. I love Kohler. I love Delta, American Standard, mowing. I mean, look, they've all make great products. People ask me that all the time. Roger, do you use Delta, Rigid, or Milwaukee? Yes. My thing is, I want what's good. And when I send a customer, because here's the deal, I normally don't go pick out my customers' faucets or anything like that. I will tell them, look, you go pick out the one that you like, and we'll put it in. But I do tell them, buy a brand that you've heard of. The warranties are going to be better. You know, I worked with American Standard for a year. I love their products. I've still got shower valves and toilets and stuff in my house. I've got a bidet toilet seat in my house, and I love it. I've got a Kohler out here we need to go install. I've got a Toto I need to install, and try them and play with them and see what I think. But my thing is that they all make good products. And if you study these companies, that most of them do a lot of good stuff for the plumbing community. They support companies to help bring people water, to help do different things like that. So there's so many good things about all these companies. And I do. Look, I worked with American Standard for a year. I still love them. They've got great product. Kohler, I think Kohler is phenomenal. They've got a bidet toilet that, I mean, I'm in love with. You know, Delta, man, their shower valves, their faucet, stuff like that, phenomenal. Moen, Pfister, I mean, there are so many good brands out there. Guys, we've got a lot of choices. And the neat thing is, our customers have a lot of choices. So, man, to me, I'm not married to any one of them. Now, if you ever see a sign up here on the wall with one of their names on it, I may be. But, man, any one of those, I have nothing bad to say about any one of these. And like I said, throw Pfister in there. Toto. There's so many good products out there that, look, just pick the one you like that looks the best. These are good brands. They have great warranties. And to me, man, that's the big thing about it. But I will tell you this, don't buy your products on Amazon. We went out and installed a faucet last week or the week before. They had bought on Amazon, and man, it didn't go together right. We had problems. We ended up taking about 4 hours to install what should have taken 2 hours. And man, I just told my guys, look, man, we're going to quit doing that. If it ain't a brand we recognize, we're not going to install it. Just tell people I'm sorry. Now, there are some of these. I don't necessarily like the way some of the tubs install. Man, some of those are a pain in the butt. So be very careful what you get into. Wayne Emerson says, is it better to start through the union or join later? It really depends on where you're located, Wayne, and if they're hiring. My thing is, I definitely think the union is a good thing for employees. And I made a video about this. And look, Wayne, if you're interested in getting in the union, I've made videos about applying, how to apply. There's links to let you know what locals are around you. There's videos about the interview process. things to study like the UPC study guide, all kinds of different things. The problem is, if you ever want to open your own company, you ever want to be a contractor like me, then the union is bad. And I mean, I hate to say it that way, but the union, for a startup company that's been open 5 years, I've written checks to the union for about $400,000. That is handcuffing a small company owner, because that $400,000 could have gone to advertising, marketing, things that could have made my phone ring that the union helped me with, not at all. I mean, they don't even list me on their website. So if you're going to be an employee, the union can be good if you want to be commercial. But check out my free mini course, find out what kind of plumber you want to be before you just go down there and get in it. That way you understand the different types of plumbers there are and figure out what you might be best at. I would hate for you to be the kind of guy that maybe you're going to be a great residential service plumber, but you get into commercial construction and think, man, I hate this. And it may not be right for you, but I'd hate for you to not get in the plumbing trade just because you didn't like that one particular type plumbing. And trust me, there's a lot of different types out there. Lots of questions in the forum, guys. Jump over there, fill them out. Love to have y'all ask questions so we can answer them for you and see what we can come up with. And if I can't come up with anything good, I will make something up. Richard says, hey, Roger, been binge watching your videos and have been enjoying every bit of it. Thank you so much. My question for you is, what got you into the plumbing trade? And if you could do any other thing in the trade, what would it be? Just a heads up, I am a junior in a vocational high school, taking electrical, love the content, and keep it up. Well, number one, Richard, thank you. I appreciate it that you like the videos. I love it. I think if I could do anything else in the trades, I'm a certified HVAC technician also. And it's great because I got an email the other day from a young man in high school. Says, look, I'm thinking about getting in the trades. Don't know if I'm going to do plumbing or HVAC. What do you recommend? And he says, and I may do both. Which would you recommend doing first? And it's funny because electrical has a lot to do with it. And I told him I would do the HVAC first because you learn a lot about drain piping. You learn a lot about piping, about brazing, about soldering. But you also learn a lot about electrical. To me, if you know all that, plumbing becomes easy at that point. It's drilling holes. It's learning piping. And when I say easy, don't let me piss a bunch of plumbers off. It's going to be an easier mindset to learn. And I think as an HVAC tech, you could get yourself into a money-making position quicker, where you can bring value to your employer. You can make better money. At that point, I would either become an electrician or a plumber and study that to get that license. There's a few people around that I either know or have heard of that are master electricians, master plumbers, and they've got their HVAC certification. Man, I wish I'd have done that a long time ago. I didn't, but I wish I would have. I didn't even get my HVAC certification until about 5 or 6 years ago. And I've never done it because I've been busy running my own plumbing company. But it's nice to know that I've got it in case I ever want to branch off into that, which one day I may want to, and we've talked about it. See, are South African qualifications respected in the United States? Man, I actually worked for TD Mechanical down in Austin, and we had a plumber there from South Africa. Man, that dude was good. So, you come over here, and it may take you a little while to get your license, but man, his work habits were fantastic, and man, it was great. I did that one, I believe. Yes. Pedro says, do you use a Lupex for domestic water, or is it not available in your country? The PEX we have over here, we've got We've got PEX A, PEX B, PEX C, Uponor, Shark Bite, different brands, stuff like that. I don't know what a Lupex is, but if anybody in here does, jump in and say, hey, here's what it is. Sorry about that. Kurt says, can a plumbing board allocate you an apprentice status over a union entrance exam? Here's my thought on this, and that I'd have questions to get the right answer here. When you join a union, they don't make you a plumber's apprentice. That's done through the state. They bring you in, they train you, they educate you, they do stuff like that, and that's your classification. But the actual registration is done through, here in Texas, the Texas State Board. Even the apprentices that join the union here have to sign up with the board to get their apprentice registration. They've got to be registered. Sam Ham, you have no idea what you're talking about, brother. Cottonelle is the bomb diggity. The bomb diggity, brother. Just saying. Don't be coming into my house arguing with me about my toilet paper. Dylan says, was it better to use plastic pipes or copper pipes? It really depends on what you're putting in, Dylan. For water lines, I'm an old school plumber. I love copper. I also understand that PEX is really, and look, I love Uponor. I think it's going to be the next big thing. The cool thing about it is it's a good product. I love the fact that you expand it. It's constantly trying to shrink back to its size. I like the fact that the fittings are full fitting size. So I have no problem with either one. Copper has been great for many, many years. PEX may be it may be the next sliced bread. That means the next great thing. Next one is Raymond. Had to leave high school due to family issues. Is it possible to get into a trade without a formal education? First thing I would ask you is where you're located, because in Texas right now, they are not requiring a high school diploma or a GED. So you have the possibility of jumping in and getting your license, but it really depends on what time you get it done. Meaning, I would hurry. I don't know how far along you are. I know there's a lot of plumbers in Texas that want them to go back and reinstate that to where you do have to have a high school diploma or a GED. So it depends on where you're at, but I would really try hard. I love that I can put people in timeout and I ain't even got to push a button. Next question, guys, and I am still over in the forum. Jake Wolf wants to know, what is a good chemical to unclog a toilet? It's called a plunger or a closet auger. And we're wanting to try, what's that? Air plunger air, some kind of a, they've got a new tool out. It's a piece of tube. It's got a handle on it, an air snake. Stick it down in there and squeeze it and boom. So we're looking forward to playing with that too. Gotta love Neil. Don't you have coloring books to play with? Oh, Neil C., brother, you are the man. Dylan says, what do you think about smoke breaks or smoking on the job? Smoking on the job is pretty much not allowed anywhere anymore. Smoke breaks happen. I don't like my guys to smoke in the vans because I think it makes their clothes smell bad. When they walk up to people's houses, they can smell it. At the end of the day, I think, look, number one, it's all health, but if you walk up to a customer and they can smell you coming, it's not good. Smoke breaks, like on a commercial job, that they've normally got smoking areas where the guys can go smoke and stuff like that. Smoke breaks will be around. It is what it is. I think for a small residential company, it's tough because, customers don't want to smell that when you walk in their house. So it's kind of a tough topic sometimes. Some guys are adamant about it. Look, I know guys that have smoked for years, but man, it just depends on really what kind of plumber you want to be.
Sending over a super chat.
Okay. Super chat from Josh Ines. How are you, Josh? Thank you, sir. I hope you had a good day. You know what? It has been a great few days. Been a wonderful weekend. Long week with Christmas off and stuff like that. It's going to be a short week coming up and a long weekend next weekend too. Actually, like to find a way for Julie and I to get out and have fun, getting away and just brainstorming and looking at goals and budgets and stuff like that for next year. So, Josh, thank you very much. It's been a great day. It's been a great week, and I am ready for a great year.
I got another one I'm going to send over just because I think it's funny.
Perfect. Just got splashed with poo water in the face. You know what, Sean? Brother, if that's the first time it's ever happened, my hat's off to you. I doubt it is. We tell our guys, look, that's what the mask and the face shield and all that's for. But if you said in the face, I doubt you had yours on. PPE, brother. Next question from Jacob. Guys, and if y'all have got questions or comments, jump over into the forum. That's kind of where I'm going through. It's kind of hard to bounce back and forth. And this just makes it easy. Keep it easy to get controlled. Keep them lined up in order and stuff like that. And it's kind of hard to pass them up. So Jacob says, would you recommend apprenticeship or trade school? It depends on what's available to you where you're at. And it doesn't even have to be one or the other. Apprenticeship through a local or apprenticeship through an open shop can be really good depending on what kind of plumber you're with. Apprenticeships through locals, if you get good instructors, they can be fantastic. They're not all good instructors. Some are in it just for the money. It's really neat. I had somebody leave a comment. Somebody put something on Facebook and somebody later down in the comments tagged me. And I was reading through the comments and somebody had put something in there that said, Roger Wakefield is the best plumbing instructor I ever had in the union. And man, I just thought that was so cool. So either way, I think some trade school instructors can be great too, guys. Prestonia says, why do I find the vids interesting even though I'm not a plumber? You know what? Prestonia, number one, thank you very much. And Prestonia, where are you from? I don't want to get your name wrong. Prestonia Krestik. I know I messed that up. Here's what I would tell you is, I don't know why you find them entertaining, but we really try very hard to make them fun, educational, entertaining, exciting, but also to bring people value. And it's funny because every now and then YouTube will go on a spiel where it will recommend my videos to a lot of different people. And I get so many comments just on my normal YouTube videos, people coming in and saying, look, I don't know why YouTube recommended your video, but I've been up all night long watching your videos. So I love it. So Prestonia, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. I appreciate, number one, that you like it, but also coming in here and leaving a comment. I really do appreciate that. We're good decomposting chemicals for a toilet that is clogged. You know, Jake Wolf, we really don't just use a lot of chemicals. Matter of fact, we really don't use any. My whole thing is a plunger, a closet auger, thing like that, clean it out so it'll wash it down and let the water do it. and it will take it out. Big John says, education disguised as entertainment will perform great. And Big John, yes, sir, it does. Next question over in the forum, guys. Mike says, how did you get such a nice mustache? By drinking bourbon with people like Juliet Miranda. You got to up your game. Juliet, how are you? Good to see you in here. Juliet's another one, just like Neil the Urban Explorer. If y'all have not subscribed to those channels, you need to. Juliet will go live tonight drinking bourbon. And Juliet, I actually thought about you this weekend. I was drinking Garrison Brothers Cowboy Bourbon, barrel proof. Oh my God, it's amazing. Got it done in High Texas. And if you hadn't seen my video about the best plumbing job ever, it is the Garrison Brothers Distillery. So great channels, and you do it. That's right, John's in here. Another one. I got some great people in here. So these are good people to jump over to their YouTube channels, follow them, see what they're doing. But I know that Juliet will go live here in a couple hours. Great place to hang out and talk bourbon and other things. She has a lot of fun. So good to have you in here, girl. And to be honest with you, Mike, I'm just kind of lucky on the mustache. I could grow facial hair. I could grow a full beard when I was 15 years old. And that's always been pretty cool. When I showed up at football practice, like my freshman or sophomore year, I had a full beard, and other guys were looking like, hey, who's this grown man here? Pretty great way to start off. But it's funny because I remember jumping in the swimming pool when I was young, and I was trying to dive from one end of the pool to the other. So I was running, jumping on the board and going as far as I could. And literally I hit the shallow end and I scraped my lip on the bottom of the pool. And my first thought is, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to grow a mustache. And luckily, as you see, I don't have a problem. Thank you, though. I do appreciate it. Jason, along with my last question, do you have any probationary period that you would keep someone hired, or are you determined to teach them work ethic? Here's the thing, and it's the 20-60-20 rule. Normally, 20% of your employees are amazing. They're A-class employees. They take care of everything. You don't have to worry about them. You don't have to coach them. They want to be amazing. 60% of your employees need help. They want to be good. They could be good. And working on those 60% could move some of those, not all of them, because some people want help, but they're not going to listen. Some people want help, but they don't know what help they need. Some people want help, but even if you give it to them, they're not going to do it. They're not going to pay attention. They're not going to follow through. But you'll find a few of those in the 60% that can move up into that top 20%. And it may just be 10 to 20% of them. But the bottom 20%, and as business owners, those are the ones that we want to spend so much time with. We're like, man, look, when I hired this kid, I thought he'd be good. You want to keep working with him and trying to get him better and stuff like that. The problem is you spend so much time on that bottom 20%, and most of them never move up into the 60. And you're better off spending your time on that 60%, moving them up into the top 20. The bottom 20%, you give them 30 to 60 days. You come to them with, hey, here's what you need to work on. You give them 30 more days, and either they do it or they're gone. Don't waste a lot of time. The bottom 20% is not worth as much time as it would take to get them up. And man, I hate to say it because I've had people in that bottom 20% that, man, I wanted them to be my rock stars, and I really thought that they would. It just never happened. Caleb says, I'm finishing high school and want to know what my first step should be after finishing. The good thing is, Caleb, you're doing a lot of it right now. I think coming in here and watching videos and learning, I'm assuming you want to be a plumber. Blake Drury, I really doubt that you will become a moderator. Just saying, you've been thrown in timeout 100 times today, so probably won't happen. Matter of fact, I'll guarantee it. I don't know. Neil, do you want to make him a moderator? Sorry. My thing is, Caleb, you're already doing it. You're jumping in here. You're learning. Here's the cool things that I will tell you is don't be a floater. You got to love Neil. Here's the cool thing. You're wanting to learn already. So I would go take the free mini course, figure out what kind of plumber you want to be. Then watch the videos where I talk about how do you find jobs like that. It may be commercial. It may be you want to be the guy that joins the union and grow and get really good at it. You may be the guy that, thank you, Blake Drury. You may be the guy that literally wants to own his own company one day, but you need to find that out now. And if you watch those videos, figure those things out, it'll kind of help you learn what way to go. There are a lot of people that can get in and go become that plumber through the union and work commercial their whole life, and they love it. And then again, there's some people come in, never go union, never even go to a trade school. They go open shop. They learn to become a great residential service plumber. Then one day they open their own company and they do well at it because they've got a good mindset. You can do it however you want to do it, but man, you're off to a good start because you're already jumping in here, watching videos, learning. I think that is the biggest part. You're getting ahead of everybody that you're going to be in class with one day, and they don't even know it. That's pretty cool. Mark says, how has 2020 affected your plumbing jobs and plumbing in general? The cool thing about it is, Mark, it hadn't affected the plumbing company bad. It did in the beginning. It slowed things down for a little while, actually quite a while. And we were able to juggle things around, find other things for guys to do, thanks to, some stimulus money, stuff like that. It literally, God, I love Neil. It literally made, it made it good because we were able to find other things for the guys to do to help make us better. And, thank gosh we had that. But since then, we just got busy. People were at home more, so that they were using their systems more, causing more problems, needing more help, needing more work. The one thing that I'll tell you is I'm afraid that as things start to lock down again, we're going to go through a slowdown again. So we keep our eyes open. We're trying to be prepared for it. But I think in the long run, it's going to help plumbers in general. I know a lot of plumbers that have retired because of everything going on right now. They're like, look, I'm just done. So they've retired, and there's less people getting in because the unions are struggling to bring people into training and the classes, even in for meetings to hire them. So there's a lot of problems going on in the system, but I'm telling you right now, the biggest thing is there's less people getting in, there's more people getting out, and that's going to affect supply and demand. And I think it's going to lead to more money for plumbers in the long run. So Mark, I hope that kind of answers your question. I really think this is a great time to get into the trades. It really, really is. All right, here's a good one. I like this. Ben Franklin wants to know, have you ever used a plastic pipe welder? Yes, I have. Pipe fusion. I currently travel to many Middle Eastern countries, and that's what's commonly used there. Just wondering your thoughts on it. I've actually used it. I used to work industrial. So, I've worked for Texas Instruments. And the neat thing is we literally, for a lot of lift stations, we'd have to weld, plastic pipe welding, the pipe, the fittings, the the boxes, the attachment to them, stuff like that. There's a lot that we had to do, but man, I've enjoyed it. It's pretty cool. It's interesting. I had a couple of guys and myself that were actually really good at it. So man, we always had stuff to do. Mike says, "What's the story behind your mustache? Is there a reason for the style?" You know, Mike, there's really not. I'm a redneck, not in a bad way. It's just, I mean, I've grown up in Texas. I used to be a DJ in Austin. My name was Redneck Roger, and that's kind of stuck with me for a long time. I've always liked facial hair. I used to do the beard, the Don Johnson, halfway beard, stuff like that. But just kind of one day I was shaving and kind of trimmed my mustache like this and got a lot of comments on it, and it's just kind of stuck with it. So hadn't been a bad thing for me.
By the way, we doing members only in about 15 minutes.
I don't know how many members we got in here.
I don't know.
I'd kind of look through the chat and see, and if you got enough in here you think it'll be a good thing, we can. If not, I mean, it's holiday, so I know it's slower than normal. How many people we got in here all together right now?
I'm showing 110.
110? Yeah, there's probably 8 or 10 members, probably about 10%. Maybe. Donovan Clark says, I don't know if I can ask another question, but you are. What was the process like in opening up your own business? That's a good question. Because the bad thing is I really didn't have a process. That's the truth. Here was my process. I was working with a big mechanical contractor. I was director of operations. And Donovan, I mean, it was one of those jobs, I didn't like it. I knew that the owner of the company was just money hungry, and I don't like people like that, but that was her deal. She came into a company that was run by her parents, which her dad was, I think, a good tradesman. But she was a nurse and wanted to be knew that she'd end up taking her company over. And I think that's sad because I think the day she does, it'll close down. The problem is I wasn't happy, and I had already started looking at how to get out. And I walked in one day and it happened. It was the way things happened. And I called my wife. I said, look, bring my Jeep and come get me. She was working from home. She said that this doesn't sound well. I said, well, it's really good because I'm walking out. And she came pick me up. We talked about it on the way home. It was a Friday. I had no idea what I was going to do. Just kept thinking about it Saturday and Sunday. Didn't know if I was going to go find another job. I had always had the idea of opening my own company. I'd just never really done it. Then what I did is Monday morning when I woke up, my phone was ringing, and it was a friend that I had done plumbing for. And they called and said, look, our house was hit by lightning, and we need you to come over today. We know you're busy, but we've got a leak in the attic and they won't turn it back on. I ended up going over there, and it took me most of the day to find the leak, repair the leak, do a lot of different things, test it, get it all turned back on. But it happened. And I just knew, okay, this is what I'm meant to do. This is what I'm going to do. And that's when we started the company. And it's been a blessing because it has really been good for us. It's been good for the community. I think it's been good for the trades. But like I said earlier, the biggest mistake I made is deciding to go union. So I wish that I wouldn't have. But I will tell you this. I had to learn a lot of things. I had to learn how to open a business. I've hired coaches, consultants. I've hired people to train me in social media, to train me as a plumber, to coach us in the trades and budgeting and bookkeeping and running a business and all kinds of things. So it's literally kind of been wild. But Donovan, I still enjoy it. I love it. I mean, I love what I do. I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to leave it up open to everybody. But what we're going to do, I've probably got about 20 more questions to go through here. At 4:30, we're going to start kind of speed running the questions. And we're probably going to shut down about 5 o'clock today. It's a holiday week. It's slower than normal. Don't get me wrong. I got some great people in here, but we're gonna have fun. We're gonna call it a short night tonight. You're not gonna complain about that, right? Will you go fill that with water for me? Thank you, sir. All right, my moderator's gone, so y'all be nice. I still got Neil in here. He will wear you out. Neil, I hope you're doing good, brother. How is the UK? For y'all that don't know, that's the unknown. All right. Tyler says, how do I increase the water pressure on a Gourmet faucet? And you may not be able to. About all you may be able to do is change out the aerator. Normally there's a flow restrictor in there on a lot of those. So that could be the big deal. The big one says, what's the worst smell you've ever smelled? Man. Yeah, it's I've walked into a toilet one day that I thought somebody had died and fallen in it, and they just left them there. So it's probably about the worst I've ever smelled. Rob says, any genius ideas for warming? A water softener I installed in my garage. Nothing has frozen the garage for years. Boy, is the water extra cold during the winter season. You know what? And actually, yeah, this is a good one. You can go to Ferguson.com and they've got a heat tape. And you might wrap heat tape around it. You could even look at a water heater insulation kit and wrap it with insulation. Put the heat tape in it. I don't know that the heat tape, if you'll be able to control it, because I don't know how cold it is where you're at. I'm kind of like you. I think I would want it warm. But, man, that's something that I would definitely look at if that's a possibility. Jack Scammon says, hey, why is my water yellow? Well, is that the outgoing water? UK is cold as heck and back in the Stone Age. Man, I tell you what, brother. I think that we're going to be headed there ourselves. I really do. So anyway, Rob, I hope that helps you on the water softener. Guys, if y'all have any questions, jump over in the forum, put them there. Here in about 5 minutes, we're going to kind of start speed rounding the forum questions, having fun and knocking them out. Daniel Doe says, could you please give me some things being a plumber? Don't know what things you want given to you, but if it's an education, watch more plumbing videos. Don Francis says, I wrote in a week or so ago about becoming a plumber's apprentice. They decided to hire me. Man, I've already done that one. How'd that one come in again? Let me go through these questions quicker than I thought. When I put an escutcheon back on after changing a shower cartridge, do I need to use putty? Normally, Corey, when I put the escutcheon back on a shower cartridge, I dap it because you don't want any water to get down behind it and get in the wall that could cause problems. So we always, after we put the escutcheon back on, we'll put a nice bead of dap, wipe it down, make it look beautiful. So, Corey, I hope that helps you out. Thought I clicked on that one, didn't I go to there? Matthew says, thank you, sir. My sink in my back room has a hose that nobody knows what it goes to. How am I able to check without damaging the rental property? I'm currently leasing it. My maintenance person won't look at it. I'll tell you what I would do if I were you. Matthew, I would go look at the link over there for our subreddit. Take a picture of it. And I mean, don't just like take a picture of the hose up close where you can't see it. Take a picture of it like back far enough we can see where it starts, where it ends, what it ties into. If you'll do that and post it on our subreddit. So go to Reddit, look for Roger Wakefield posts, and post that picture there and ask the question, does anybody know what this is? Man, we've got a lot of good plumbers over there that answer questions, comment, look at things, stuff like that. That's also where we get the best pictures and videos for a lot of the YouTube videos we do. So I would say put that over there, and thank you for going over there. I appreciate it. Shane Johnson says, can I use a ball valve over a gate valve so I don't have to worry about an old valve? You can, but your gate valve can still go bad. A lot of things can happen. I would shut the water off, change out the gate valve, replace it with a ball valve. We do that a lot whenever we go to houses. If we're going to do a sewer water test, we'll tell them, look, we cannot turn off this gate valve. If we're trying to isolate the house from the yard, we may need to change it out to a ball valve in order to make that work. Love it. Remember, guys, anybody got questions, jump over into the forum. I'm going to go through them here in a little bit, and then we're going to call it on out. Ben Cleve says, how's your experience been creating a channel and sharing your story? I tell you what, Ben, I love this. I get the opportunity, which look, I've got 40 years experience. So I've been plumbing for a long time. I've hired some great coaches. I've hired, Michael Gerber was the first coach that I hired. I've actually signed up in groups that have some phenomenal coaches for plumbing, electrical, HVAC, roofing. So I get to learn a lot of different things in that group. I've also hired speaking coaches. I've hired leadership coaches, high performance coaches. I've hired a lot of different coaches for a lot of different things. So I love this. I have an opportunity to not just get in and tell my story, but to help people and help coach them in the things that I do well. So to me, it really is pretty cool. I love the fact that I get to get in and help people. I have so many people reach out to me and say, because of you, I'm now in my own truck. I started doing this almost 3 years ago, and I've had people literally come in and say, look, I watched a video and you taught me how to do this. Or I watched your videos or started watching your videos and I decided to get in the trades. Now I'm driving my own plumbing van and I'm making good money. Or now I drive my own plumbing van and one day I want to open my own company. I want to do like you do. So to me, it's really neat that I've had the opportunity to change people's lives. And it's a funny way to look at it because I never thought that is a position that I would be in. But to be able to get in here and tell my story, talk about plumbing, look, I'm a high school dropout. Now, I did go back and graduate, but man, I dropped out of high school and I started learning a trade. And this trade has been phenomenal for me. So I enjoy it. It's been good for me. And literally, there's not anybody in the world that can't do it. You get in here, you learn it. And I have people tell me, well, I have a hard time remembering stuff. Look, if you can remember how to tie your shoes, you can remember how to install plumbing. It's just repetition. You get to where you do it over and over again. You understand what it is, and you keep working on it. So I like that, Ben. I hope that helps you, or hope that answers your question. Jason says, hey, Roger, what do I do if I can't loosen or tighten a P-trap connection nut? It turns, but nothing happens. Please help. If it's a P-trap, is it plastic or is it brass, chrome, whatever? Cut it off, replace it. Put a piece of pot or put a pot or something under it. So when you cut it, and I'd probably cut the bottom of the P, that way you get all the water out of it. But man, just cut it and replace it and just tell them, hey, I got to change this out. There's nothing I can do. And if it's yours, just cut it out and change it. There's nothing you can do. Yeah, if the nut's turning, but it won't do anything, man, that's a tough one. Yeah, it turns, but nothing's happening. Change it out. All right, guys, so I got about 30 minutes left. I'm going to jump over into the forum and start jumping through some questions. So guys, yep, we are still cranking. Amberlina, you are right. If y'all have questions, jump over into the forum, put them there. I'll jump back over into the chat in a little bit. Really just to say thanks to Sean and Neil and Austin and Amber and everybody else. And see if Miss Juliet Miranda's still in here. Guys, I'm telling you, when I'm done here, go over to her channel and subscribe. She talks bourbon and tells some great stories. She's been in Chicago. She's down in New Orleans now. But, man, it's neat to talk to her. She's got a southern drawl. Neat to listen to her. Her and producer David, her guy, really great people. So, Oratakawa says, Roger, it looks like you had a crappy union chapter and you should have sent conversation receipts to the state national union offices. Here's the deal. Man, the good thing is I've got enough connections in the union. I've actually spoke to a lot of them. And they're just like, Roger, look, we don't have a lot of control over the local union. And it wasn't a crappy chapter. Remember, I joined the union in 97. I didn't get out until this year. So, I've got 24, 25 years vested experience in the union. I think the union is good for employees. I think for a small residential service company, it sucks. If you're the owner of a company and they want you to sign up, run for the hills. It is not good. They don't support you. They don't help you. They don't train for you. They don't get you guys. There's not a lot that they do, and that's what you pay a union for. And mine didn't do it. And I mean, at the end of the day, that's it. It's not a crappy chapter. Look, I think the union is a great thing, not as a small residential plumbing company. And look, I would love to talk to my union because I think I could help them make it a great thing. But they don't want to talk about what's going on at the local level. So, I mean, it is what it is. Look, I've tried talking to Mark McManus. I've tried talking to Tom Bigsby or Bigley. It is what it is. I love the union. I think it's good. Just not if you want to be a business owner and try to be in the union, then it's kind of tough. Blake says, hi again, Roger. Love your channel and definitely a good guy. So is there anything you regret about doing plumbing? Blake, there's really not. Other than, like I said earlier, signing a union contract when I first started my company, I'd have been smarter and maybe it would have been good to be in a union had I been non-union first, built it big, got things good, had my employees in, and then converted over to union to do better things for them. Most of the money that I paid into the union for benefits, nobody's ever going to see because those guys didn't hang around in the union. So, I mean, man, most of that money I just threw away. And of course, the union is not going to throw it back to you. They're just going to say, hey, thank you very much. So it is what it is. That's about my biggest regret. Marcus says, what's your biggest fear? Being ate by a wolf and shit off a cliff. That's probably it. You know what, Marcus? I'm really lucky. I'm not afraid of a lot. I get up on houses. I crawl under houses. Stuff like that doesn't bother me. I would say At this point in my life, it's really funny because I'm working on a lot of things. My biggest fear is not getting done with the things I want to get done. It's funny, asked earlier, do you love the opportunities you have now? And I do. Now my biggest fear is now that I see how I can help people and help a lot of people, I'm like, man, am I getting too old too fast? What if I can't get all these things done that I want to? Because I really do. I want to get things done. I want to help people. And that's a big deal to me now. And as I get older, I mean, look, I'm getting close to 60. I'm not going to be doing this forever. I know it. So I want to make sure everything that I can do that will help people, I get in place and get built out. And that to me is probably one of my biggest fears. What if I run out of time? Because I know that I have an opportunity. By the messages I get, the comments I get, the pictures I get, I know that I've got an opportunity to help people, help a lot of people make their lives better. And that's really what I'm trying to do. Dustin Foshi says, the toilet won't flush, but everything else drains fine. And plunging causes backup into the shower. Tried snaking, plunging, drain openers, nothing has worked. Okay, so Dustin, here's the deal. If you're flushing the toilet and it's backing up into the shower, the shower drain comes into it too. You say you tried running a snake, you're going to need a longer snake, or you're going to need to go up on the roof and go in that vent because there's probably a stoppage down below the sanitary T, or Wisconsin, since it ties in. Santee with the side inlet, whatever you want to call it. But you've got two choices. You go up on the house, on the roof, run it down the vent. If there's a wall clean out, you can go through that. Or take a wet vac everything out, pull the toilet, and then go in through there. There's a stoppage there, but since you've already put in chemical drain cleaners, be very careful. Also, if you call a plumbing company, make sure you tell them you put in chemical drain cleaners. Those can actually make people go blind, and I'd hate for that to happen to anybody. Tobias, why has PEX become the standard in the U.S. instead of aluminum composite pipe like in Europe? You know, the Europeans are ahead of us on a lot of stuff. Somebody was talking about that a while ago, the Allopex or whatever it is. I can't tell you why. All I can tell you is look, I love Uponor because they don't have the reduced size fittings. But, and I don't know if on the aluminum composite, if they've got the reduced size fittings too. But my thing is, look, anytime plumbers are going to put things in that have reduced size fittings, they need to increase the total size. Meaning if you're putting in a 3/4 line and you're going to put in PEX, increase it to 1 inch. That way the fittings aren't reduced to almost the size of 1/2 inch. It slows the flow. Jason Marino says, what a good guy, but he said earlier he isn't that great. What's the angle? Jason, there's no angle. Look, I love what I do. That part's true. I don't think I'm any more special than any other plumber in town. I just think that I found a way to tell people about it, and I think that makes other people's lives better. It doesn't mean I'm special. It doesn't mean anything like that. I want to help people, and that's really why I started my company. The company that I walked out of, if you've been in here long enough and you heard me talking earlier, literally the company that I worked at, they were talking about getting into residential service. Now remember, I'm director of operations over major construction. So they're talking about getting into service, residential service. We had a meeting one morning and the executive, the president, the owner, the new owner, was saying that she was going to start advertising and marketing that they had the best trained plumbers in town and they specialized in customer service. And when I asked what they were doing to support that, she said, what do you mean? I said, well, if you've got the best trained plumbers, how are you training them? So, well, our plumbers all have licenses. We know they're trained. Well, every other plumber in Texas does too. When I asked about the customer service, I said, what are you doing? She says, well, all our plumbers know how to say please and thank you. Okay. So that means you've got the you're specializing in customer service, stuff like that just blows my mind. We got super chat there, Mr.
You want to address these supers?
Do what?
You want to address these supers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Send it over.
Yes, indeed. I got a Johnny Hurtado. Why does my toilet water move when the bath drains? Because your toilet water drains through the bottom of your toilet, through the sanitary fitting under your toilet. If the toilet water moves too, I would tell you there may be a stoppage in there where it's filling up and that's what's making it move, or your vent's clogged. So when that drain comes down and pulls, it creates a suction to make that move. Things like that can happen. So yeah, be careful. If you've got a stoppage there, you want to address it now before it gets really bad and maybe backs up or anything like that. So just keep an eye on it. You don't want it to overflow one day. And what could happen is you got to flush your toilet and it ends up in your tub. Then you're going to be cleaning up a bigger mess. The Urban Explorer. And Neil, I noticed you changed your logo. So you don't have the rotating logo anymore. I want to know why, because Grayson's still working on mine. It says, Roger, Julie will ABS the team. Julie will ABS the team, yes. I have to go. Do I? Yeah. To Roger, Julie, and the team. There you go. I have to go, but wish you all the very best for 2021. Roger, you've proven to the world this year you're driving passion, and it's inspiring. Sir, you're a legend. Roger, the plumbing legend. I like the way that sounds, Neil. Neil, look, brother, man, I love you. I love what you do. Guys, go over and watch Neil's channel and subscribe. I'm telling you, the first time I saw him cut a hole in the side of a van, I thought, what the is he doing? It blew my mind. And by the time that video was done, he had installed the coolest looking window. And man, I thoroughly enjoy watching him. So Neil, if you hadn't gone yet, brother, be careful, be safe. Happy New Year to you. I do appreciate you being here. And hopefully 2021 is better for all of us. And we can get back together and hang out at conferences and enjoy each other. It's great hanging out and visiting with you, brother. Thoroughly enjoy it. Thank you very much. Great people. Good night, Neil. Okay, back into the forum for just a few more minutes here. This is working out. So, guys, if you got a few more questions, you got a few more minutes, you want to drop some into the forum, that's great. Headed to the next one. Andrew Gage. What is the weirdest thing that happened to you on a service call? Man, a long time ago, I had a lady answer the door completely naked one day. That was actually kind of crazy. And acted like it was no big deal. She's like, yeah, come on in. And it's just like, wow. That's probably the weirdest. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything ever really crazier since then, but I don't guess so. We got one more there, Will, if you want to throw it up. Says, Jason Moreno says you only need to pass the test at 60% in California. Here in Texas, that's a F, I believe. 70, 60, maybe so. Man, that's tough. And I'm assuming that's the contractor's exam because California licensing is a little bit different. You don't get like a master plumber's license. You get like a contractor's license. And then the people under you, you decide when they're plumbers. Jason, is that correct? I think it's still that way. I talk to California plumbers a lot. I think it's really interesting the way y'all do things. Not in a bad way. I wish Texas was set up that way. I could grow a lot faster. Stephen Almanza. Hey, Roger, I'm a pipe fitter from Terrell, Texas. And you cannot believe the kind of plumbing that I have seen around here. You know what? I've done some calls out in Terrell, Texas. Yeah, I would believe it. It is kind of funny. You know, here's the thing is they used to allow Municipalities under 5,000 people, they would let anybody do the plumbing there. There were no inspections, no nothing. So, yeah, it can get kind of tough. But funny thing is, you're right. It's hard to believe what you can imagine. So we got Flash in Your Pan in the house and the Standing Seam channel. Great to see both y'all in here. Man, we got some cool people in here tonight. This has been great. Raymond Bell says, part 2, I'm from Maryland. Would I need a GED to get into a trade school? What's the best options to start up a trade? Love the videos. Thank you very much. I'll tell you this, Raymond. Contact the AHA, the authority having jurisdiction in your area. Find out who does the licensing in your area and contact them. And normally you can probably go to their website. I know Texas, you can go to the website and say, I want to be apprentice. I want to be a journeyman. I want to be a master. You can do all these different things. And the neat thing is it'll give you the forms to fill out, tell you how much it costs, how many hours you need. There's so many good things there. So that is something that is definitely worth checking out. And in Maryland, I'm really not sure. It's pretty cool. And of course, Flash in Your Pan. I'm a carpenter, but I do know about plumbing. It flows downhill. Don't bite your fingernails, and payday's Friday. And the boss is a SOB. Raymond Bell, thank you for the question. I hope that helped. Jack Purcell says, just started working in a hardware store and we carry Shark Bite and PEX products. Is there any advice that you could give me that would better enable me to help our customers? Throw them away. No, I'm joking. Jack, look, here's the thing. To me, Shark Bite fittings are an emergency use only. You call in a plumber, you do different things to make sure that it gets fixed right in the long run. I don't like Shark Bite fittings put behind walls. I don't like them put underground. I don't like things like that. And I don't like plumbers that just go out and install those like it's a professional repair and going on about their business. So, my thing is, look, let homeowners do it, but tell them you may want to get a plumber in here to fix it right. This is great for a temporary fix, but it may be something they may want to have a professional look at later, or ask them if they know how to solder. And if they do, teach them the right way to do it, and man, help them out. Next, we got Juan Aponte. How are you doing? Says, I can do plumbing jobs, but need a license. I live in California. What do I do? In California, apparently they just said you only got to make a 60 on the test. One, what you got to do is you have to, I guess, kind of document your hours or figure out what it's going to take. Contact the state of California. You've basically got to take a contractor's license, which, if I'm not mistaken, you get tested on a lot of different things, including law and business and things like that. But one, man, I would start checking into it, start getting things done so that you can make that happen. Joshua McKnight says, how successful are you? And this is really neat, and I like this because, Joshua, that's up to each individual person. Me, I'm successful as a plumber and a YouTuber, but not as successful as I want to be. I always try to do things better. And the neat thing about it is I keep trying to do that. As our plumbing company, I want us to always work on getting better. If we quit, you just get in that rut where, look, we're not doing anything different. We're not doing anything better. Same thing as a social media person. I literally think that, and look at me. I've only been doing social media just over 2.5 years. We're getting close to 3 years now. We're at 2 years and 8 months. So my thing is, I'm still new at this. I've still got a lot to learn. And what we're doing on YouTube and LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on Reddit, we're on Twitter. I mean, so many different places. Actually just signed up for Clubhouse. There's so many different things out there and so many different opportunities, but we always want to get better. So success is up to each individual person. And the only reason I'm wanting to grow is because I can reach people on different platforms that maybe don't see me on YouTube, don't see me on LinkedIn, don't see me on TikTok. So there's a lot of different things that I can do, but the more people I reach, the more opportunity I have for people that I can help. So that's how I look at success. But to be honest, success is different for everybody. Richard says, what's the dumbest thing you've ever done in the trade? Man, probably got out. I got into the trades in the 80s. Actually, even before then, really. But I got into plumbing in the 80s. I got out to become a massage therapist, a cosmetologist. I've got out and done a lot of different things, but I always end up getting right back in the trades. I love the trades. I think construction is great, not just for me, for a lot of different people. But, man, I do. I love it. We got another super chat there, Will. Cool. All right. The Standing Same Channel says, and number one, thank you for the super chat. Says, I've been focusing on tutorial videos right now. Have these worked well for you, or have you found other types better for your channel? And this is great because tutorial videos were great. That's how we started out. Every video we made was tutorial. Then because we made tutorial videos for homeowners that helped drive them to the plumbing company. Because if we taught them something that they couldn't fix, we taught them something that they didn't want to fix, or it was just, hey, look, I'm glad you've got this. Now you're my trusted advisor. It helped the plumbing company grow. Then what we realized is we've got more plumbers and tradespeople getting in and watching our videos and asking questions. Then we started doing things to grow there. But then again, some of those tutorial videos helped them because they didn't understand how to do slab leaks, leak detections, a lot of the things that we specialized in. So that was pretty cool. I've loved it. I got to tell you, I love being able to show people the right way. And look, you're teaching people how to make a living. And with that, they can learn to feed their family. They can learn to have a career. So I've always enjoyed it. The tutorial videos are great because most people see how hard it is. And they're like, okay, I'm not doing that. But now they know who the expert is, and that's the one they're going to call. So I think it's pretty cool. Do tutorials till you grow big enough that you have the opportunity to do other things and see how that works out. That's pretty cool too. Somebody says, why is my sink spitting out yellow water? Could be a lot of different things. It could be a problem with the city water. I would communicate with them. Also, I would wonder, do you have anything? Is it hot or cold? Is it just on the hot side? If so, it may be something in your water heater. There's a lot of different things, but man, water ain't supposed to be yellow. So I'd sure check it out and see what's going on. All right. We got a few more here. So I am literally going to speed round the forum. We got about 5 more minutes here. If y'all are in the chat, I'm going to jump back in and say goodbye here in just a minute. But now we're going speed round in the forum to see if we can get all these puppies knocked out. Kevin Miller says, I'm a journeyman in Pittsburgh, PA, and looking forward to getting my master's, starting my own company. What is the best way to get your customer base started and growing exponentially? I know good, hard, honest work speaks for itself, and so do your customers. But how do you get them to call you in the first place as a brand new company? Really love your videos, and here for almost every live, you're the man. Thank you so much. And I'm going to ask you, are you subscribed? And I asked that earlier, and I never saw anybody put anything in. I asked if y'all are subscribed, and if not, why not? And it's just a thing because of a video I watched this weekend, trying to gather some information. So everybody, if you will, in the comments, go through and put yes if you're subscribed. If not, put no, and then put the reason. And maybe it's like, look, I don't want notifications. I just want to jump in here when I want to, whatever it is. But at least that way I know. So Kevin, here's the deal. Start doing things, be different. Do what I did. Start making video. Start building relations on LinkedIn. but you build relations to give people value. Because if you can give people value, if you can let them know you know what you're talking about and you can share great value with them to help them grow, now they'll want to reach out to you if they have questions. So I'll tell you, no, I didn't mean in the forum. You did good. I don't want to read 100 questions in the forum to say yes. And Benito maybe doesn't count. Okay. Either subscriber or you're not, one or the other. Kevin, I started out going onto LinkedIn, building out or reaching out to real estate agents, but then I would create great videos to teach them about sewer water tests. Why are home inspections important? Why is this important? And do stuff like that. So they started seeing me as a resource. Now, when they had a customer that wanted to buy a house, they'd say, hey, you need to watch this video by Roger. He's going to teach you about a sewer water test, and it's something we really recommend. So they would literally send me customers. So think about that. You can build relations one at a time with people that need your information and need a plumber, or you can build relations with people that can introduce you to 50 people a year. That is probably a game changer for me, and it helped a lot. And that's something that we teach about all the time in our courses, and it does. It helps. That blows everybody's mind. That and networking are two of the biggest things I've done. And if you're in Pennsylvania, reach out to me, and I'll tell you about Master Networks. PEX piping for potable water often says not for outdoor use. It is said to deal with freezing better than copper. Given these circumstances, is it appropriate for single wall trailer? It's old enough. I'm going to tell you yes, just because. Look, PEX pipe, okay, outdoor use and in walls, even though it's thinner, man, if you can insulate it, anything you can do, and you're right. The UV, the sunlight, that is the biggest problem. Juan Solar says, can a bathroom vent be uphill from the toilet? It depends on what code your city builds by, but yes, it can. You just got to be careful in how you plumb them in. And a cool thing is always talk to your plumbing inspector. We've had to do that, going in and doing a repipe where there's no other way, and communicating with the inspector has been great. Frank says, what do manufacturers not want PEX or any other plastic off hot water connections, even when it's 120 degrees? A heat pump under the tank is plastic. Because just their code says 18 inches off before you come off 18 inches before you go to plastic. And it may be to keep it away from the burner assembly, the vent. It could be a lot, and I said burner assembly. Off the vent, the flue pipe, the chimney, things like that. Man, the thing is, that's what they recommend, so that legally, that's what you're supposed to do. Luis says, some fence builders cut our water line. What can I do to hold them accountable? Man, that's tough. If you hired them, it's probably your responsibility anyway, but I'd come back to them, stop payment on the check if it's yours. I'd contact them and say, hey, just prove it. Contact the city and say, hey, almost file criminal charges if they don't want to take care of it. I'm sure in small claims court you could win, but it's kind of tough. Yeah, anytime I start talking about leaving Daniel Doe, and they start jumping out, it is what it is. And Daniel's question comes up. Plumbing business. I'm in a plumbing business, and my friend that also works at the business went to a house with a clogged sink. He used a plunger, but it backfired to most of the other sinks and showers. He can't fix it still. Could you tell me a reason? Well, if it's backing up in other sinks and stuff, it's not that sink backed up. There's a blockage in the main somewhere, and the water level is high enough that it's causing this problem. You're probably going to have to get into the vent, into the main, something like that, in order to unclog it and free everything up. Jeremy says, I know this stupid question, but what's a plumber's union? The union is plumbers and pipe fitters, steam fitters. It's called the United Association. It's a nationwide organization. It's like a labor referral source, a training center. There's a lot of good things. And guys, I know I complain about the union, but look, I've been in the union 25 years because I do believe in it. So there are good things about it. Just I think that me opening my own company was not a smart thing to do to try to sign up union. Don says, every time the water in my house is used upstairs, it makes a very loud, high-pitched shrill throughout the rest of the house. How or why and how can I make it stop? Don, it is probably a fill valve on a toilet. That's when it's flushed. It's the noise that it makes squeezing by that washer or something. Normally it's in a toilet. It could be an angle stop. I mean, it could even be a ball valve somewhere. I've seen a lot of different places do it, but I would always check with the toilets first. Jared Brown says, how do you best remove a stubborn bonnet nut in a tub shower? Man, sometimes you can't. Sometimes you got to try to cut the head flat and drill it and use an extractor. There's a lot of different things you can have to do. You may even have to actually change the stem out just because you can't get the screw out. I've been there before. And trust me, it's a pain. I've sat there and fought one for almost an hour one time. Alex says, how old are you? I am 57 years old, but I still love what I do. Michael says, what do you recommend for someone who wants to start out as a plumber? I recommend take my free mini course first. It'll let you figure out what kind of plumber you want to be. And hopefully that's enough to make sure you get in the right way and then start learning everything you can about how to get a job with a particular plumbing company like that. And hopefully you'll enjoy it a whole lot more. How much do plumbing apprentices start making out at first? Here in the Dallas area, plumbing apprentices start out at about $34,000, $35,000 a year. Not bad. So Jeremiah Francis, union plumber, 17 years in Columbus, Ohio. Spent last 8 years doing residential service calls. I'm trying what you did. I've started Hydrojet Heavy. Do you offer a phone consultation? Your channel is a blessing. First time I've caught it. Jeremiah Franz, go to rogerwakefield.com. I do some consulting. Normally it's bigger companies, not smaller companies. But I'll tell you what I've learned, you can learn a lot in an hour. What I've learned in how to grow my company through social media, how to use different platforms, different things to specialize in, different organizations to join to help me grow, it can be really good. Eddie says, okay, answered that one. $34,000 a year in the Dallas area. Jose Cabrera says, what's the best multimeter for plumbing? You know, I've got, mine, what is mine? The blue. I've got my HVAC one. So that's the one I use. And I can't think of the freaking name of it. And I don't have my bag in here. I was looking around for it. Man, I use a high dollar multi-level meter. The reason being, man, I want one that's accurate and precise, and I've got all kinds of different controls. I can check thermocouples out with it. I can check controls out with it, power, just everything. And it does. It makes all the difference in the world. Okay, guys, no more questions. I'm fixing to shut them down. What do you think of crimp connections? If you're talking ProPress and stuff like that, I think it's great. It works. Joshua says likes and dislikes how the UK does their plumbing. You know what, Joshua? I don't do a lot of plumbing over there. I want to start. We're talking about doing some deals with one of the plumbers over there where we do some lives together and bounce questions back and forth about plumbing versus here and there. Flush meter broke, change it out, man. That's what they're all about. You can actually change out the whole thing or rebuild it. Would you have done another trade if you didn't go into plumbing? And do you use the term plumb, like make sure the baseboard is plumb? I do. True plumb and square is a big deal to me. And this is my last question. And Jeremiah, look, go to rogerwakefield.com, check out my webpage, and then if you want to talk to me, we can go from there. David says, do you ever find people come into the trade as a second career a little later in life? Seems like most apprentices are in their 20s. Consider myself handy, but I'm currently working in a totally different industry. It's really funny because they do. My son came to me and wanted to get in the union right out of high school, and I told him no. I said, look, you need to go get another job. Get a few jobs. Get fired, get in trouble, do it, grow, learn. And because I knew if he came in late, if he started leaving early, if he started calling in sick, and I know that because I did it when I was young. And I was already in the union by the time that we started talking about it. And I said, look, you're not going to get in the union and then mess it up. I said, this is a career. So he went to work at a machine shop. He did a few different things. About 3 years later, he came back and said, hey, Dad, look, I'm ready. So, yeah, a lot of people do get into it later. And, man, I think it's a good thing to do because they grow up, they get mature, they learn, they grow. It's amazing. I want to jump back in here and say hello, Amber Mendoza again. Thank you so much for being in here. It has been wonderful. Julia and Amber getting apprentice cards. I love this. This is so good. I'm going to start taking the girls out on plumbing calls. That way they can see things and we can do videos and just all kinds of fun stuff. Because I tell people, look, I can teach anybody to do anything, and I'm going to show y'all. I want to say thanks to Will, Liz, Grayson, Austin, Neil, the Urban Explorer. I want to say thanks to Juliet Miranda for jumping in here. If y'all have not subscribed to her channel, guys, jump over there and subscribe. She is wonderful, and she'll be going live here in just a couple of hours. I hope that y'all have thoroughly enjoyed being here today. Wow, sorry about that. I'm looking down at my buttons to push. I hope everybody has had a Merry Christmas, whatever holiday season you celebrate. I hope it's really been great. And I hope that y'all are all ready for a Happy New Year next week. Next time I see y'all, it will be next year, so I'm looking forward to it. Sean Strong still in here. Good to see you, brother. Thank you. Thanks to Big John. You do it. Neil, all the moderators. Man, thanks to the chat bot. Kick tail tonight. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for all y'all do. I appreciate y'all being here. And thank you for the super chats, the questions. It's been wonderful. Have thoroughly enjoyed it. And again, I'm going to read back through these later. If you're not a subscriber, why not? I'm Roger Wakefield, Lead AP, the expert plumber. I'll see you in the next video if you don't get flushed.